How are you? I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing great. I am back after a couple weeks of not doing my job because I took a little break and I went on vacation and I actually had so much fun in nature again. I went camping, I went to the mountains, I connected with my soul all over again. And in that time, I did read a lot for me, but I didn't read too many books. I did want to talk about a book in specific that I really loved because it changed my life forever. You know, I am a fantasy girly, and of course, I'm talking about fantasy, and I did mention before that I was reading it, but I had not finished it at the time when I mentioned it. So now that I finished, we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. Have a soul. So I read it in just a couple days. It was a surprise, honestly, because it's a cozy fantasy and I'm not really a fan of cozy just because it's basically, I love the idea of what cozy is supposed to be, but usually it does not come off the way it should. It just, basically nothing happens. When it's a cozy story, it's just like not a lot of action, not a lot of situations, not a lot of drama, but this one gave me all of that while still having that cozy feeling. And for that, it is now one of my favorite fantasy romance. I want to show you some of my tapped moments, talk a little bit about it, give you some updates on my TBR because of course it has to grown. Since last time I talked about it, I have read a lot of the books in it, so we're just balancing it out, but I'm super excited about the books I bought recently because they are a little bit different to what I am usually reading, but that's why I'm excited because I've been wanting to branch out to these specific topics. Okay, let's start with Have a Soul. So the story is a fairy tale. Our main character called Dora, we first see her as a child and she meets this fairy that tries to take her soul but is interrupted by her cousin who stabs him with some scissors. So basically because it was interrupted, now she has half a soul, which means that she does not feel emotions the way that normally people would. So she's like the cool girl that just goes around saying what she means. Her family is just her cousin, her aunts, because she was an orphan. So these ladies are trying to get her and her cousin married, and because of that they're trying to make them look the best they can amongst the rich people, and Dora is not helping because of her attitude, but she's just got half a soul. She does not act like any other girl, you know? Rarely is this the case, but she was actually a very likable, not like other girls, so I liked her. In the story, we meet a lot of cool characters, a lot of interesting characters, but there is one specific person that changed everything for me and for her, I guess, and that is Elias. I don't know how you would pronounce his name, but oh my god. See, this is like the perfect cozy enemies to lover, because they were not really enemies, it was just more like tension to lovers, I guess. But he was a super cool character because he is also like her. He does not think twice before speaking his mind, except his reason is more because even though he is also amongst the rich and the wealthy, he does not really agree with the style of life that they live. He does not agree in how there's such a big imbalance when it comes to the poor people and the rich people and the way they live and what rich people use their money for. So Dora takes a liking to him, and he was not the person that her aunts were hoping she would marry, so that creates a little bit of a tension over there. And then his personality clashing with everybody else, also all the fun moments. There were so many moments where it was just them being themselves together, and it was amazing. So the chemistry was there. Yeah, I'm gonna show you the moment where I lost my mind for the first time in this book. This is my first tapped moment, and this is when they start to get familiar with each other, and I just have to show you. He's very closed off, so the fact that he's being so open with somebody for the first time and letting his guard down, that's when we knew that she was the one, and she's not like other girls. And there were so many other moments like that. There is one specific scene. I cannot elaborate on this one because that will be a spoiler. The moment this scene happened, I think that's the moment where I decided that this book was gonna become a new favorite. So I think you have to experience it for the first time. Them in that ball dancing together when he makes magic happen. I fell in love. It was so amazing, the descriptions of the scenes in this book too, what was going on, the description of the places. Like, it was so easy to just imagine these beautiful scenarios, and I think that's also what made it so easy for me to put it high up in my favorites. And definitely that cozy feeling was there the whole time. I was just like screaming and wiggling my feet during the whole reading of this book, all the way to the end. I'm gonna say the beginning it's a little slow. The beginning, because it starts with her as a child and like what happened and kind of like backstory. I would say it was a little bit slow, but once it picks up, it does not slow down ever again. I'm just gonna let you know that all of them are the most stunning moments, and just see how many there are. And this is not all of them, these are just my top of all the stunning moments. There were so many. It made my heart so happy. So yeah, I would say this one was a 4.5 out of 5, really high up there, and a new favorite. Now that I talked about what I read, I am gonna talk about what I am reading, and that is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. It's amazing. I have not finished it. I am on page 240. So we follow the story of our main character, which is the Daughter of the Moon Goddess and the Archer. This book is like 500 pages long, so I'm around half of it, and so much has already happened. There has not been a slow or dull moment yet, and we love that so much. So she meets this prince at the beginning of the book when they're both young, and they become really close friends. They grow up together. When they grow up, they become separated, and a lot happens in between. With this book, I've had so many moments where I'm just like screaming and so excited, and then others when I'm like so upset, but so like I want to keep reading. I hope it keeps going the way it's going right now, because it's been such a fun time. And even, okay, I gotta say, I hope this is not a spoiler, but just in case, be warned, this is the first time in my whole life probably that I've read a love triangle and I actually like both options. Usually there's like the really obvious one, and then, you know, the trash one that comes in and makes you upset for half the book, and then you just want to skip all of these pages. But not in this case. Listen, if I keep talking, I'm gonna say way too much. I'm just gonna say this is the first time I have ever enjoyed a love triangle where I'm not upset at the fact that there is another person wasting my time. Okay, so we talked about what I read, what I'm currently reading, and now what I'm going to read. My last trip to Barnes & Noble was very successful. I bought a couple books. I did not go insane because we in this economy, but I bought 3 new books that I want to be reading soon, and I know I have already a whole TBR waiting for me that I am actually going through very quickly. So the first one is The Butchering Art by Lindsay Fitzharris, and I'm shocked at myself. I am proud of myself for my growth as a person. Because if there's one thing that I always tend to do is stick to what I like and what I know. I love to believe that I am the kind of person that enjoys new experiences, and I am, but I'm also the kind of person that loves a comfort zone, and I am so happy that I dared myself to get out of mine. Because this is the first time that I buy a thriller. I wouldn't say it's a thriller, but like a darker book. So this one is about surgery in the Victorian times. So it's about surgery, it's about medicine, but it's gonna focus on how dark and crazy it used to be in the 19th century. Because can you imagine you're going to surgery and there's not only no anesthesia, but it's a show and you're on a stage. I'm entering this era of wanting to read books about real life things, but you know, a little dramatized, because I want to have fun, but I also want to know facts. I want to know the world. I want to be a studied girly. So yeah, I have been into the classics for a while now, but I've been doing mostly English classics. I've been curious about Russian classics, and obviously you cannot talk about the Russian classics without mentioning a couple names. Dostoevsky. And this is gonna be my first Dostoevsky book that I've ever read. So I'm very excited. It's Crime and Punishment, and I've heard amazing things about it. So of course, if I was gonna start with one, it had to be with this one. And listen, I am gonna be 100% open. I'm an open book. But just one, I swear, it's just one of the reasons, not the main reason. I'm not fake. One of the reasons why I was so excited to start reading Dostoevsky is because I've been dying to be able to tell people I read Dostoevsky. No shame. We're a little fake. And the third book that I bought, and the last one for now, my last new family member, I'm so excited about this one. It is the Decameron by Giovanni Boccaccio.
Giovanni Boccaccio.
The Decameron. And like, look at this. This is the Penguin Classic edition, because of course I was gonna get that one. I can tell if it's focused. This book I've been wanting to read for a while because the Decameron is the inspiration behind so many of my favorite classic paintings. I actually was studying some of the paintings that were inspired on it, but a lot of those classic old paintings are actually inspired in poems, books, texts, all that. And I've been really wanting to do that with my art now. Like, I really thought, you know what? 1 + 1 = 2, right? If I love reading and I love painting, why don't I do more paintings based on my favorite stories, my favorite books, you know? So I thought I would go to the roots of it and learn from the old masters of the past. And I got myself the Decameron. So this is obviously one of those books that, like I love to say, I'm not just gonna read it, I'm gonna study it. I also went to an antique store over there, and look at what I got myself. You're gonna cry, you're gonna be so jealous, but first of all, look at this edition of Vanity Fair. Like, girl. Oh my god. It's from 1960. Excuse her. Excuse her. I got myself another one. And it is the first volume of the Decameron. It's from the 30s. Also beautiful, also pretty. I did not want to damage this book because the pages are very frail. They're barely held together. Even just flipping through it kind of makes me feel uneasy. So I needed to get myself a copy of the Decameron that I also loved because that Penguin Classics cover is chef's kiss. But also one that I could treat like one of my French girls, and I did. So yeah, but this baby is just a volume 1, so she will be collecting the rest. Of course she will. I just have to start somewhere. So yeah, those are my book updates for now. I am going to be coming back once I finish my current read, The Daughter of the Moon Goddess, and once I start the Decameron, I am gonna actually include it on my study with me videos rather than the reading vlogs, just because that book I generally bought more for the purpose of like doing some deep studying with some other references rather than just reading it. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. I will see you next time, hopefully painting if I get my life together, but I should be back now with my regular posting schedule, which is not a schedule at all, but twice a week. So yeah, I'm gonna be back to being productive, I promise. I was just taking a break, I went on vacation, but I'm back and I will be posting twice a week. Bye!